Hey guys, sorry for the light right behind my head, but I think this is the way it's going to work. Um, so remember last week you wrote your name on a piece of the scratch paper, the cheap paper, okay, and you planned it all out, and then you took the oil pastel and you wrote it to match on this. I don't know if you can see it, but barely, I think. You can see my oil pastel with Mrs. Tool on there. And now you're going to paint. Okay, and to set up your paint, I set over some scratch paper, some bigger paper, that size paper, to lay under your project so you don't mess up your desk quite so much, okay? And then I want you to lay your project down on there, on top of the paper, okay? And I'm going to put this in now so you guys can see what I'm doing, okay? And then you have your set of paints, which yours look a lot neater than mine because I gave you guys the good ones and I kept the yucky ones. You have your brush, which might be just a little smaller, and you have your water. Okay, before you start painting, listen to all these instructions, okay? So you're going to dip, and then you tap so you don't have a lot of water in your brush, but it's definitely wet. And then you're going to start with lightest colors first, because if you start with like the purples and the blues, it turns your water that color, and then when you go to use a yellow, it looks yucky. All right, because it changes its colors and you'll have to go change your water. But to keep from having to change your water so much, you'll start with your lightest color. So the lightest color I have is yellow. So if you're going to want to use yellow, we're going to do that. And look how I have to dip a couple times. We want this paint to be really watery because remember how I told you that oil and water do not mix together? So if I don't use hardly any water in my paint, it's not going to do what I want it to, which is not stick to the oil that's already on my project. So I want to get lots of water, and I'm going to show you how much water I have in here. See if I can hold this up to the camera. I get lots of water. So can you see how runny that is in there? Okay, lots of water, okay? So I want a really watery brush, okay? And then I want you to fill in the shapes, every shape a different color. So an easy shape for me is the middle of my O. Okay, and hopefully I can kind of see that. And if I paint over it a little bit, it doesn't matter. See how I got, okay? So I painted in the middle of my O, okay? Then I'm going to switch colors, and now I'm going to go to like the orange because it's a lighter color, but not as light as yellow. And once again, I'm going to get it really nice and wet. And then I'm going to fill in another shape. And every spot in here is a shape. So because we did it top to bottom, there's a shape between my T and my O here. And there's a shape between my O and my O here. So by the time we get done, all the white paper is going to be colored. But I want you to do it a shape at a time. So I'm going to do between my T and my O here. And you can kind of tell where that shape ends because you can see where the paint doesn't stick to the crayon. Okay, so there's another spot. So now I'm going to use a little bit of red. And you don't have to go right next to each other. I just am so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to use a little bit of red here. Do another shape. I got to get a lot of water on there. I'm going to do the shape between the two O's. Okay, hopefully you get the idea what I'm doing. I'm doing between every shape. I'm going to pause the video here and finish so you don't have to watch, and then you can see the end, okay? Okay, so I finished mine. So hopefully it's dry enough I can hold it up for you. So you can see all the letters of my name, okay? And there's a different color between every shape. Okay, that's what you're trying to do, something like that. And it does not matter what order you put the colors in. You don't have to use all the colors. You just probably want to make sure you don't have two of the same colors touching with each other, okay? You can do it however you want, but make sure you can see your letters. So don't put your paint on so heavy and thick over the top and keep doing that over and over on the letters because eventually you will rub enough of the oil off that you won't see those letters anymore. So make sure you do that. So it's just a simple little 2-day project, but I hope when we're done, and maybe Miss McClure will want to hang these up somewhere. Okay, so this is what you need to do. So then you need to clean up. Okay, well, actually, let's do a couple finishing things first. I want you to take a picture of this and send it to me on your Seesaw. Okay, submit it to me. And then I want you to clean up. So you're going to take your brush and you're going to wash it, okay, till no color comes out. So when the color is all gone, then you know it's clean, okay? You shouldn't have mixed any colors, so you shouldn't have anything in your lid, okay? So as long as you didn't spill all over in your watercolor set, you shouldn't have to do anything with that, okay? Just don't tip it around. Just hold it nice and flat. Take your brush after you've got it clean and lay it in the little tray inside your watercolors. Close your watercolor and carefully go and take it and sit it where Miss McClure tells you, probably on the counter or somewhere like that, okay? And let it sit and dry there. And then you're going to take your project like this. Okay, make sure it's dry enough to move it. You may talk to Miss McClure and let her help you and figure out where you're going to put it to. And you may, if it's really wet, you just may want to move it on the paper and everything, okay? If it's pretty dry and if you weren't too sloppy, it shouldn't be wet all over the place. You can pick it up and just move it to wherever Miss McClure tells you to let it sit and dry, and then you can take your scrap paper that I put on your that I gave you to put underneath it and just throw that away, okay? And then let it dry really good, and then it should be good to go. So I hope you had fun with that. Make sure you take a picture of it. And then we will start a new project on Tuesday. Okay, bye.